right now. Hi everyone, and welcome to today's Sansa Amazon Live video. Today we'll be speaking about our new design and garage light. So our new 30-watt deformable garage light, it's got foldable wings, as you can see, similar to our 60-watt design, and we'll be kind of going through some of the features and specifications this light has and how you can use it around your home. And then we'll kind of go through some popular questions we get, especially regarding our garage deformable lights. So maybe it'll be some of the questions from the 60 watt, as this is a new light, but it kind of has the same functions and features, so the questions and answers should be quite similar. So first of all, I'll just go through some of the specifications of this light. It puts out 3000 lumens at 5000 K. So 5000 K temperature is it's close to natural daylight or sunlight, so if you put it inside a garage, a very dark space or room, it will kind of fill up the whole space with like a really bright beam, so it will seem like kind of task lighting. So it's kind of like a nice kind of daylight light to work underneath. So it's 5000 K is a good kind of beam to work under for task lighting in a barn, in a garage or warehouse or something like that. But you could kind of put it outside as well if you're looking for something kind of really bright to kind of fill a whole big area. So we'll kind of go through the body of the light first. As you can see, the wings are foldable down, so I'll just fold them down there. It has an E26 base, so as you can see, if I put it closely, you can see there's an E26 base. The E26 base kind of makes this light really simple and easy to install anywhere around the home, as it's kind of a general socket or fixture for anywhere in the home. So you can kind of install this anywhere you need or like. But it's kind of designed to mainly be used in garages or big spaces, as the lights and wings are foldable. So the E26 base makes this kind of work as a regular bulb, although it's kind of more of a light in my kind of opinion. So it's like a big light, but it's usable like a tiny bulb. The wings themselves, kind of, if I fold them up to 0 degrees, we'll kind of go through the kind of how far they can maneuver. So as you can see here, this is the wings at 0 degrees, at a 0 degree angle. And I'll fold them down just to kind of give you a look of how easy and simple it is. So I'll fold down all 4 of them. So each one is, this is about 90 degrees now, so it folds out like this. This is kind of a common way you would be using it, or you kind of have them up like this. It's kind of, it's just however you like to use them really. But overall the lights do fold down 135 degrees, as you can see here. So if I fold them as far as they will go, they do actually fold down 135 degrees, so you can get a good idea of how far they can fold down and up. So I'll fold it back up now, just so you can kind of see how it works, or how simple it is to kind of move around. So as you can see, I've kind of put the lights up there about maybe 35 degrees. This is kind of a common way of using it if you want to get more coverage around your room or garage or barn. So now we'll just kind of talk about the structure of the light. The 4 deformable wings, as you can see, I'll hold one up here, now you can see. The 4 deformable panels and wings, it has 4 ceramic, that means it has 4 ceramic heat sinks. So as you can see here, if I move it closely, there's the ceramic heat sink there. You can see all of the LEDs are evenly distributed across the whole ceramic heat sink. So also, if you take a closer look at the ceramic heatsink, you can see that it actually has a wide surface area. So a heatsink with a very wide surface area is good for dissipating the heat away from the LED chips. So although the ceramic heatsink will remain hot, the LED chips will actually be quite cool. And as you can see, kind of if I turn it over, you can see there's a hollow body on the back of the heatsink. So within here is the heatsink, and then the air is going through the gaps here, the hollow body, so it's still moving all the heat away from the LED chips on the front of the light. So now we'll just kind of go through some of the wings and kind of how you can use it. So the wings are actually obviously smaller than the 60 watt version, and it kind of there's less LED modules, as the 60 watt version maybe has 2 each side or 3, but this one just has 1 LED module each side. So with 4 LED modules you can kind of get a good distribution of light. As you can see, it kind of covers like a whole 360 degrees. Now we can kind of talk about the ceramic heat sinks. We just covered them earlier, but we'll kind of go into more detail. If I fold this up and move it a little bit closer to the camera, you can see that the ceramic heat sink has a wide surface area, just to kind of increase the heat dissipation and move the heat away from the LED chips on the front of the light. So we'll just kind of cover some of the advantages of kind of chip on ceramic technology, and it's not too common in LEDs at the moment. So the ceramic heatsink is just kind of mainly used for the LED chips to be directly attached onto the ceramic body of the heatsink. So this means because of the ceramic, it means that LED chips can be directly attached onto the ceramic heatsink body. So it means there's less parts and kind of less pieces in comparison to a traditional LED that uses aluminium heatsinks. So an aluminium heatsink will kind of use thermal adhesives, a PC board, and maybe even some internal fans. But as you can see, I mean, you can kind of see through the back of the light here. There's no fans, there's no extra pieces, it's just chip on ceramic. So it's kind of COC technology just made for moving heat away from the LED chips to prolong the life of the light. So as we use this ceramic technology, the life of this light is actually extended up to 30,000 hours lifetime. So it's kind of a long lasting, it's kind of a long-term investment with an initial cost that's a little bit higher, but if you're kind of looking for something that's going to last a long time and you've planned ahead, this is kind of a good option. So we're going to just talk about some of the dimensions of this light because it kind of looks a little bit big on the camera screen, but it's actually very small. So the dimensions, it goes 10 widthways, 10 lengthways if you're including the wings, and it's just about 3 inches high. So the box here is 3 inches around as an estimate, so it's 3 inches. So 10 by 10 by 3. So it means you can kind of just screw it in the top of your home, and it kind of like, it works as a regular small bulb. Although the light covers a lot of coverage, especially in terms of wide kind of beam coverage, actually it's a really small it's kind of a small, easy to use light just to stick in the ceiling or something of a large space and kind of fill the whole area with natural daylight. So now we can just kind of go through, we can kind of stick it into a regular fixture. We'll just kind of plug it in and show you how it works, and see how we can kind of get a better idea of how it works and how simple it is to install. So if I move the fixture here over to the camera, I'll install the light quite quickly, and you kind of get an idea of how it works and how simple it is to use. So as I twist it into the fixture of the light, you can see it's just kind of like a twist in, like a regular bulb, and I'll just turn it on at the mains. Yeah, so if I just turn it on, yeah, you can kind of see there the bright white daylight beam there. If I flick it up, it's kind of a little bit too bright for the camera, but just to give you an idea of how bright the light actually is. It is really bright. The 3000 lumens, kind of, you can see it on my hands, it kind of brings out the light really well actually. So the light is actually incredibly bright, and it's daylight. So 3000 lumens at 5000K is actually a kind of a really powerful beam to have inside your home or in your garage or somewhere, because I'll just kind of show it while it's on. If you move the wings around, if I fold them down, you'll kind of get a better idea and see better how these kind of ones work, stuff like that. So as you can see, it's really bright. As it's shining on me, it's really bright. You can see the daylight beam makes everything incredibly wide. So it's kind of like having like a miniature sun it's kind of like getting a miniature sun or some natural daylight inside a very dark area. So it's really great for kind of workshops, garages, or kind of barns or anything like that. I would actually really like to work underneath this, especially in terms of inside a workshop or something, as the light can be maneuvered however you like. So it's kind of like a really good, nice, bright daylight beam to work underneath. So if I had it in a workshop or something, you can actually see really clearly kind of what you're doing, the things. It's kind of like working outside, but you've got all the benefits of being indoors. So it's a really nice light to kind of work under or use for anywhere to do with task lighting or general lighting. So as you can see now, it's been put in the fixture. I folded it up and down so you can see it even at the lowest point, just to kind of get an idea of how bright it is still. This kind of won't really be a common way to use it, but it's just a way of showing how kind of versatile it is. So you can move all the wings around if you wish. I've put that one down for the camera's sake, and just kind of folding it around, seeing, and you kind of just see how I can just move the wings up and down to fit however I want the light to be. So it kind of makes the light really useful and practical for inside a home or garage. It just kind of moves around and suits to whatever you kind of need the light to do. So that's really good. We'll just turn the light off now, so you can don't need so much light in your eyes and stuff. So as you can see, it's still kind of hanging in the fixture. It's really simple just to uninstall as well. You just twist it like a regular bulb. So I'll just show you how to take it out. So it's actually really simple. You just twist it in clockwise, and then regularly twist it out anti-clockwise. So it's just like installing a regular LED bulb. So this light is really basic. Like, it's a nice, simple design, and it's really effective. So it's like they've gone for the kind of a simple and effective design. simple to use, easy to install, but effective in lighting, and it's kind of really bright as well. So the light that comes out is kind of like a really powerful natural beam, whereas you don't really have to go through all the trouble of looking for certain tools and stuff to install it. It's just a plug in and twist. So now we're kind of going to cover some of the questions we get on our Amazon page as the last section. These are kind of common questions we get, especially regarding our garage light and wing light versions, that they kind of look a little bit different to regular LED garage lights. So the first question we got is, do they get hot? In terms of the light itself, I just had it on there for a few minutes and it's kind of very cool to touch actually. The body of the light will never be hot. As you can see, I'm just touching it, it doesn't really get hot. The one hot part of the light, which you won't actually be coming into contact with anyway, is the ceramic heatsink. So the ceramic heatsink may heat up if the light is on for a very long time, maybe over 1 hour or something. The heat will go up, obviously, of the heatsink, but that's kind of the only part of the light that will get hot. So you don't really come into contact with this part, but this will be the hottest part of the light, just the ceramic heatsink. So as you can see, if I move the camera up a little bit, you can see that it's just the ceramic heatsink is actually covered by a plastic lens, so you won't kind of come into contact with it whether it's hot or not. So it's not really like it's not going to affect anything, but this is the one hot part of the light. It's just the ceramic heatsink. So the rest of the light and the body is all cool, and it doesn't create any heat. The kind of temperature it runs at and stuff is very low. LED lights can actually work really well in even very cold temperatures, such as as low as -25. So it kind of makes this light good for being used within garages and places where there's not a lot of heating. So the light doesn't really function very hot. The ceramic heatsink will build up some heat naturally, just because that's where the heat's coming from the LED chips, and it's trying to dissipate that out. But the light overall actually runs at a very cool temperature. So now we'll just go through a couple more questions. The second most popular question we get regarding this light is it dimmable? This light is not dimmable because we kind of created it and designed it just to be very bright and usable for your garage or very big open space. So we use the foldable arms. Maybe if you need to, you can kind of twist it and move maybe 1 or 2 bulbs or modules away from where you're directing all the light. So if you fold 2 down or fold 2 up, maybe it won't be pointing towards where you don't want the light. So if you can kind of point it away, maybe this will dim it out a little bit, but the light itself is not actually dimmable. So it's a non-dimmable light, but you can maybe direct the modules and stuff away from the area that you want less light and less brightness onto. So maybe in the future we'll come up with a dimmable version, but at the moment we kind of just wanted to make something effective for barns and garages and outdoor lighting that's kind of bright, easy to use and simple to install. So at the moment it's not dimmable, but you can kind of obviously see you can move the wings away from the area you're directing it, and this can kind of make it easier and less bright on the space that you don't want to fill with light. Our third most common question is, can it be used with an electric eye to turn on and off? So an electric eye is actually like a photo detector, so it means it's triggered by obstructions of light. So it's like a kind of a security system you would use commonly in your garage or home or somewhere like this. Just so the light is actually 120 volts, like the input voltage is 120 volts. So as long as the electric eye is 120 volts also, it will be able to work with an electric eye. So you kind of set it up, it could become a kind of nice security system within your garage or barn or kind of warehouse. Especially if you set it up inside a warehouse with a security system, it would be able to be used kind of like an indoor security light, especially if it's attached to an electric eye. You just have to make sure both of the voltages match up, so 120 volts each, and then you can definitely set it up and just twist and install and then work it together with the electric eye. So these can work with electric eye. It's just kind of like getting the right voltage. 120 is quite common, so it should be okay just to find one that matches it. And the fourth most common question we get is it waterproof? Because the IP rating isn't listed on our Amazon page. The IP rating for this light is actually IP65. So it means the light is actually highly dust proof and waterproof. So you can actually it probably could be used outdoors with some kind of protection. Although IP65 is quite highly rated for waterproof and dustproof protection, this light was mainly just kind of promoted and being used as an indoor light. But with the IP65, it wouldn't really be a problem being used outdoors either. So that we've kind of gone through all the specifications and shown you how to use this light today. We hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have any more questions, you can kind of go over to our Amazon page and leave some customer questions, and we'll get back to you and answer all of them. So we hope you have a good day, and maybe you can kind of go onto our page and check these lights out in the future.